pineapple. Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
It's Win for the Win and the Pineapple. And we are here at episode 26.
26.
And the topic is just being happy.
Just being
Interesting. And, he picks these topics. I'm just here for
Random.
rad. Okay. Yes. So, as always, we will be sharing a good vibe story. And we'll be taking a kava drink, letting y'all know about that, what that is. And then getting to the topic.
Exactly. And so we've been starting with the good vibe story. And yesterday I shared that I went to Barnes & Noble with a buddy. I wanted to go see a movie. And he normally picks a book. And I'm just there to chit chat and share the good vibes with him. I came across this book before. And normally when I'm with someone, I don't actually get to look at it because I'm so engaged. So I actually opened up the book this time, and there were actually some really good passages. And I thought to myself, you know what this really does? It's what I love to do for fun. It's what I love to do often. And it's one of the reasons why I listen. Is because when you listen, you can get out of your own perspective. When you hear people talking, what I love to do is when I hear people speaking, I love to picture what they're saying. I love to get images of what they are seeing because it's like a mini movie for me. And so this book is called Humans, and it's from the creator of Humans of New York. The author's name is Brandon Stanton. And he came out with the first book in 2010. And if you don't know, if you want to do a quick IG, he has IG, right? You can do Humans of New York. Yeah. And it basically does many stories of people randomly. And it's wonderful because it gives me a perspective. It allows me to get out of myself because one of the few things that I know is that when we suffer, it's perhaps because we are being selfish. When we focus on others, it is difficult to focus on your suffering. So that's what this book does for me. It's called Humans, and it's by Brandon Stanton. And I'll show you real quick. Here goes the person we're going to be sharing. There he goes. So it's a random guy, right? I'm going to share his, and it's a quick story, and I'm going to share her. The first person is from Bogota, Colombia. I thought it was in New York, but it's in Bogota. But I'm going to share it real quick. I've been sitting here for 4 hours thinking about what I should do. I don't want to go home. I fucked up again. I've been a drug addict my whole life, but I was clean for 3 months. I got a job at a call center, and I was doing well. Then as soon as I got my paycheck, I went out drinking with some coworkers. It was supposed to be a normal thing, but then I tried a little coke. Same story as always. I ended up going on a binge and lost my job. And now I don't want to go home. I live with my mother. She's never lost faith in me. My brother was killed in the army, so I'm her only son. She doesn't deserve this. She was so happy that I had a job. She convinced herself that things were finally going to be okay.
Oh, God, so much.
And I've got to go home and tell her what happened. And I don't want to do it. She's not even going to be mad. She'll just be so hurt.
I know.
Then she'll ask me if I've eaten. You see? So.
Oh, this hits too close to home right now.
Yeah. And you're probably asking, how is this good vibes?
Oh, yeah.
How is this good vibes? And for me, the reason why it's good vibes is it's another perspective. It's a story.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
of a real person, and it could either allow us to be empathetic, compassionate, understanding, or we could be closed off and be like, you know what, it's fucking his fault.
Yeah, very like
That's what he gets.
hard and judgmental
and none of those different ways to look at it is wrong. You see? But what I believe where the magic lies is being able to allow ourselves to maybe be understanding and see where they're coming from, right? So when I read that story or this short paragraph and this gentleman right here, it's what would you say you felt?
I felt like getting insight and understanding on someone who is a recovering addict, or like like gaining insight on how much people carry, and just insight on what an addict goes through, and like the journey, and how much shame and guilt they feel when they have a relapse or a lapse.
When they lapse.
Yeah.
When they lapse. Because it's a cycle. It is a cycle, And people can mention to themselves, hey, you know what? It's their fault. You know what? They made the decision. They could have changed. But it's a little comedic because maybe, and I like to believe that this is true, that addiction is so prevalent and it's invisible that you will experience it from somebody close that you know. Eventually, it'll be somebody close. And if not, you've probably already experienced it. Like, for example, my father, he had an addiction. And his addiction was alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, he wasn't the violent
which
alcoholic,
is so rare.
Which is,
so you don't see that.
Yeah. And so I was very, very fortunate. Very, very fortunate. And so, that's where it was for me. And then other people I've known.
Yeah,
so,
somebody knows somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So before we say, oh, you know what, it's that, and say, you know what, that has nothing to do with me. Perhaps it does. Perhaps it does. So that's the first story. Second story comes from a woman from Lima, Peru. Don't read it.
I'm not reading it.
My mom works in restaurants and cleans houses. All her money goes to my tuition. She always tells me just to focus on school. We were short on money last semester, but she told me, don't worry about it. I'll find it. You just continue. She's always been like that. She never wants me to be stressed. My dad passed away when I was young, so we've always struggled. Sometimes when I was growing up, there would only be enough for one meal, and my mom always said that she wasn't hungry. I grew up, and I finally realized that this whole time she was only pretending.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah.
And so, and
all these
again,
stories are like.
And again, you're probably asking yourself, Pineapple, how is this good vibes? And for me, here in this, reading this story, I think of being in a space, right, where I feel like I'm having a bad day, where I feel like everything's going wrong in my life.
Yeah.
And perhaps being able to read a story like this can help me get the perspective of, hey, I'm not the only one. Hey.
Relatability.
Like,
and perspective.
My situation is not an ideal one, but maybe I have it a little better. Not that that's good, to say, oh, you know what, as long as it's not that bad, I'm good. But it does put it in perspective where you're like,
okay,
you're either going to be.
I can do this.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can do this. I can do this. And I'm not alone. in my struggles.
Exactly.
Other
So
people are suffering as well.
that's where the good vibes lies, is being able to shift the perspective. And so, any thoughts on this?
It makes me think about like, see, now she probably feels bad.
Who?
The daughter.
Yeah, maybe.
She's realized, like,
or maybe fortunate.
Yeah.
Appreciative.
Yes, appreciative, fortunate. Yes, maybe because I'm looking at it in a different way, where, I'm a daughter, and so sometimes you feel like there's just so much pressure to be a certain way because your family or your parents have done so much that you feel like, oh dang, I can't mess up, because if I mess up, I'm gonna fuck it all up. They're gonna be so disappointed in me. So, but there's two sides of that. Yes. One, appreciative, like, oh, wow, like they're really doing this all for me so that I can survive and thrive and have a better life than how they grew up. Yeah. They're willing to suffer. They're willing to literally sacrifice their health so that their young ones can make it. It's a very selfless and like, yeah, I have mixed emotions. Yeah. But I do feel one side is like heartfelt, because like, wow, one can really be all in for someone, all to provide a better life for their children like that, And on the other side, it's like, oh man. Yeah, I think there's a little more depth to this, because like, it looks like they're immigrant, the mom is probably like
no, that was in Lima, Peru.
Oh.
They're not in the States.
But just perhaps the parent, going through so many struggles, and they don't want their child to go through the same thing. So they're putting all of it into that child. And I don't know, it's like, it's heartwarming. And then also I can feel like perhaps the child can feel pressure, appreciative, but then pressure. I don't know. That's where I'm at with it.
It's life.
That's where I'm at with it.
It's life. Cool.
Yeah. What about for you? Oh, just what you said before. Perspective.
How would I say it?
I feel like you can.
There are two stories of. How would I say it? There are two stories and two perspectives, and I would like to say it's unique, but it's not. Mm-hmm. I in my mind, I've heard similar stories, so. As I was growing up. And so it allows me to shift my perspective and realize, hey, you know what? I'm lucky. I really am. And that's what I do often in the day. Hence why the positive pineapple. The positive pineapple. Everything has to do with perspective. So with that said, what time is it? It's Kava time.
I thought you were gonna sing the song.
No, that's
that's later.
That's later. That's later.
We're having the Kava, and then we're gonna have the Kava-sation.
Exactly.
After.
Exactly. And so we got two new ways to
yes, really exciting. We got some new stuff as always.
Exactly. So I just got this AeroPress.
Yes.
It brews coffee. Right? Here it goes. AeroPress. And so I put some kava in it, and I pressed it down, and what it did was it gave me a shot.
Yes.
So I'm going to take the shot, boop, put it on that side.
Yeah, and you've been having for the past 2 days, you realized it was too much kava in there, so it was really hard to do the AeroPress.
And so.
But today, way better.
Exactly. I cut the kava in half. Third time's the charm. Cut the kava in half. And so I brewed some yerba mate, because one thing that you can do, instead of just drinking the shot straight, what do people do with their tequila? They mix it with a tequila mix. And so I'm about to throw my kava shot, my pineapple kava shot that I brewed via AeroPress into my yerba mate.
Ooh, excited.
And see how it is.
And the yerba mate, you make your tea however you want it. You want to add some sweetener, some honey, whatever, right? Just make the tea good and then add the kava.
Exactly.
And see.
So we're experimenting. And I'm going to taste it right now.
Do it.
I don't even.
Right? But you still feel the effects? Let me try. Because when he made he made the yerba mate with honey, just with regular hot water, all that, it was really good. Yeah. And now we have the kava in here. Oh, you don't even taste the kava, dude.
You don't even taste it.
And you did put a lot of water in here too, so maybe the yerba mate is overpowering the kava.
Yeah, because I make my yerbs strong.
You don't even taste it.
I don't even taste it. So we got a winner.
Do you feel the effects? It's very light.
Well, for now.
Okay.
For now.
Okay, so on the other hand,
let's show yours.
Okay. I totally made this like
so
completely the wrong order.
We have another hot kava matcha.
Experiencing different ways to make it. So he got a baby French press. So cute. And instead of pressing it with hot water, I pressed it with hot oat milk because in my mind, I'm trying to make a latte.
Yes.
I realized that I could have just made a shot.
Like we did right here.
Yeah, I realized I could have made the shot with the French press with the matcha and kava. But for some reason, my brain wasn't registering. I was like, how are you going to make this into a latte? Oh, instead of a hot water, I'm going to put oat milk. Anyways, so this is French pressed.
Yes.
Okay. And it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong, but really good. I made it a little bit too sweet, but so look, I drink so much of it. Now I just have a little bit left.
There it goes. Cheers to you guys. Cheers to the Queen. Cheers to the good vibes. Cheers to the Korean hots.
Oh, yeah, you can barely taste the kava. But it's there. It's there, and you're like, this is hella easy to drink, and yummy. I'm getting all the effects of kava. So this ratio is perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's just a little bit, I put too much sweetener. Next time I'll just do 2 pumps of vanilla, but
yeah, because
this is the mixture.
Yeah, because what she did was she put oat milk into a frother.
Yeah, to make it hot.
Then she took our pre-packaged, which we're going to put onto Etsy.
We're launching.
It's going to be our pineapple kava matcha mix.
Matcha? Are we really good with matcha?
Yeah. Matcha. No, it's matcha.
Okay. It's not a matcha until they put in milk.
Yeah, you're right.
Kava matcha.
Kava matcha.
So they know that it's kava and matcha.
Right.
Or matcha.
I'm too pioneerish.
Kava.
Too pioneerish. And so.
But you could say you can make your kava matcha.
Yes.
Make your kava matcha with our kava matcha.
There it goes. There it goes. So we're going to have different listings. It's going to be hella cool because we're going to have different videos.
Yeah, they're like, ooh, what?
We're going to have different videos. So basically, you just take our mix, right? Can you give me one of those envelopes?
Yes. Oh, you already pre-stamped them.
So the mixes will come in a little envelope like this with this little pineapple on it. We're going to put our kava matcha mix into here, close it up. And so when you receive it, you just open it up, pour it into the French press.
Yes.
See, and it's not just any French press. It's got to be the mini 12-ounce French press.
Mm-hmm.
12-ounce French press. And then you put your frothed milk, oat milk, soy milk, cashew milk, and then you just press it. Voila.
Yeah. Of course, you let it steam for 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, and then you French press it.
Exactly.
And then, boom, you have yourself a drink. You can add any sweetener you want, and you have a matcha latte.
Exactly.
Kava matcha latte.
Exactly. And I'm probably going to sell it for like $1.25.
Yeah, and we're gonna do it different ways because there's ways where you can just pour hot water, like a shot of hot water with that mix, and then you pour it over your milk. You can make like a iced latte. You can make a hot latte, but you just drizzle that over your milk.
Man, that's fucking good, man.
That's really good.
That's hella good.
Yeah.
Wait, hold up. I'm gonna write this down.
Write it down.
Write this. Where the hell did my pen go? Oh, it was in my pocket. See? Telling you, when the kava starts hitting, it's just like everything goes numb. So
I'm gonna finish this drink.
Kava yerbs. The Kava yerba mate.
Yeah, kava yerba mate.
Wow, man, we're gonna have so many fucking flavors. Ooh, 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 ooh. And now it's our Kava-sation time. Come on, come on.
We're not on the same page a second.
Hey,
It's okay. It's funny.
if we were on the same time, then we'd probably be professional.
Oh,
But since we're not on the same time, that's why it's hella fun.
I'm like, woohoo! You're like, come on! I'm like, no. But it's like, woo-hoo.
And now our conversation time, our topic is just being happy. And that's the goal. That is the pineapple goal, is to be consistently good. I read a story, and it came from the Humans book. And it was actually the Humans book. And it was I forgot what country the person was from, but they had mentioned that they wanted to pass. This was a different one. They wanted to give up, right?
Mm.
The person was 91 years old.
Mm.
And the picture, he looked like he was in good health, right? And what he mentioned was, he mentions to his wife, his kids, his grandkids, because my numbers could be a little off. He had 6 grandkids, 9 great-grandkids. And he said he's lived his life.
Yeah, like, I'm full. I'm complete.
He's lived his life. But what he mentioned was, and what resonated and touched me was, he wanted to pass because he's always in pain. Physically.
Yeah.
He mentioned,
like, you know what?
Everything hurts.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Everything. From the time he wakes up to the time the day goes by and he's just, in his living room, everything hurts. And it's funny because it's not funny, but it also reminds me and takes me to a time where me and some cycling buddies, I ride with some wonderful people on Wednesday here in El Grove. El Grove is a suburb of Sacramento.
Yes, that's where I live.
Yes. And they're a cycling couple. They're hella tight. It's, what is it? Ted and Barbara. Couples goals, cycling goals. If you're able to be a cyclist and your partner cycles as well, people just look at you as like goals. Goals. And so we were getting drinks after the ride. And she had mentioned, because I believe I mentioned something about, people are, oh, what are you doing after this? What are you doing after this? What? We had just ridden 28 or 31 miles, and I mentioned, oh, yeah, I'm about to go to the gym. And she goes, oh, you're so great. You're so great. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean, Barbara? She goes, I wish I could go to the gym. She goes, when I was 30.
When I was 33 years old. No, when I was 30 years old.
When I was in my 20s and 30s, it was great. Oh. In my 40s, I just felt like I was slowing down. As soon as I hit 50, everything started hurting. And that's where my mind went as soon as I read that and seen the guy's picture. She mentioned that everything hurts. Or it begins to start hurting.
Yeah. Oh.
And so I'm very mindful daily of how I feel and where my pain level is in my body. And that's where stretching comes in. And drinking 2 to 3 gallons of water a day. Because I believe, this is just me, that the water will keep everything flowing and keep everything high functioning. Like, I'm very, very sensitive with everything that I eat and drink. Like, I feel it almost immediately. That's why kava is so wonderful in this. Your mate tea is so wonderful. And I feel caffeine in coffee immediately, and As soon as I drink like 20 ounces of water, guess where it's going? I'm already pissing within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I used to think to myself, hey, there might be something wrong. But no, that's just how fast my body works. And I'm pissing 10, 15 times a day and taking number twos, baking cupcakes and dropping them 2-3 times a day. But that gentleman just wants to be happy, just like everyone else. Just like everyone else. And if everything's hurting in your body, that sucks.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I could
sucks.
kind of imagine because, I've had surgeries and stuff and where I felt like everything hurt. Every move that I made hurt.
Yeah.
So just imagine that's your everyday for like hella years.
And it's funny, right? Like we get into this place or space where if we have something happen to us.
Yeah.
We're in the hospital. So, oh man, when I get out of here, I am going to take care of myself. Nothing is going to deter me from being my best self and living healthy.
Yeah.
Month down the line, what did I say? You're back on the grind, right? You're back pushing, grinding to make a living, to make money, And I just think to myself on the daily, is like, I just need to be happy, with what I have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the space that I create for myself. So when I read stories like that, and that's what inspired it, is just being happy. So when you hear that, Quinn, where does happiness, right, fall in your list of priorities? And let's take your list that you had for today.
Okay.
All right. What was your top 5 things to do on your list?
First, it was go see my brother.
Uh-huh.
So that's in the family category. And then after that, I saw you. So that is like a relationship business creating moment,
Uh-huh.
And then it was my self-love. I went on my jog. And then it was to get ready for my first day of my challenge today.
Yeah.
I knew Quinn, getting some self-love. I've been doing, I'm just getting back into jogging, right? So like the longest that I've been going was just like 1.2 miles or 1.2-ish something miles, right? 15 minutes. Showed up to that. And then after that, it was eating dinner with my parents and then coming here, So family, my self-love, professional work, and my own self-love work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like, I see 3 categories.
See,
so
where did happiness fall in there?
Well, when I practice my self-love, I feel happy.
Uh-huh.
I feel like proud of myself. And then when I showed up to what I've been working on, creating, that's very close and near dear to my heart, able to refine the ways that I can teach somebody about my process, be in community and being kind of like that leadership role to guide people. That made me very happy. It was hella fun. It was hella fun tonight. So it's like all these things that I do produces happiness for me, like produces that feeling.
See, I like that. And it just ties it in with what we were mentioning a few days ago, where it's not about choosing actions to be happy or choosing to be happy or this is going to make me happy to do this. It's more of progress, right?
Yeah.
It's more of connection.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, and feeling
it's more
powerful, purposeful, powerful.
Meaning.
Yes, absolutely. There was meaning in there.
So that's really sound. Those 3 right there, I've mentioned because it's called the P Apple 7.
Yes, I knew you were going to mention that because you're mentioning some of those things that you mentioned the other day.
P Apple 7. If we're able to focus on one of those, the result is happy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Connection, meaning, progress.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, and yeah, this title is about just being happy, and I know that you might hear that and be like, oh, like just being happy.
Exactly. Like
it's not easy. It's concept is simple. The effort, the willingness to go on that progression journey to feel more happiness, it's quite difficult.
Absolutely. Something that will help nudge you in that direction or get the feelings of it. Not alcohol, not some tree.
I already know what you're going to say.
Not some gummies.
Take a guess.
But a Kava yerba mate.
Take a guess.
The Kava yerbs.
Yes.
I am feeling it now.
Okay. And you don't even taste it in that yerba mate.
Yeah, I am feeling it, man.
Okay. You did have a shot earlier.
Earlier. But this shit is a win. We're going to do a video on this tomorrow. We are going to do a video on this.
I was hoping that it would taste good.
Kava Innovations comes through again.
Woo! All right, Pineapple. You were asking me where does it fall as a priority?
Yes.
And you can see that my activities, happiness is kind of embedded in all of what I did today.
Yeah.
So for yourself, I feel like you have a very consistent answer because you have the same type of priorities every single day. So where did happiness fall into your day? What was your to-do list? What was your priorities today? How did you spend your time today?
I was just in a flow.
Okay. What was consistent?
I was in a flow. And I mentioned the gentleman who was in Bogota, Colombia. And, he mentioned he was an addict and he relapsed. I felt like I was him, but I wasn't sitting on a bench for 4 hours. I was on the bike. I was on the bike. I was processing.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sitting on a bench for 4 hours. I was on the bike for 2.5.
You did active meditation.
Yes.
You was still meditation, perhaps. Like sitting there in the park, but you did active meditation.
Yes. And it's funny because to have still meditation and to be sitting there and, be be still, it can get overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
The anxiety can rise.
And that's why people say meditation is so hard because all of that is coming up way too strongly.
Exactly.
And it's hard to focus and quiet that down and just create some space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's an example of my mom. I seen her today and me and her were chit-chatting and she was just expressing her concerns and she's like, I'm worrying. And I go, Mom, that's why you got to jump on the bike. Or you got to go for a walk. Because when you walk or when you do something physical, it helps to clear up some fog. It's not going to get rid of all of it because a person needs to figure it out. They'll be able to put things in the right places or have an idea of what it would look like. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you feel like, okay, yeah, I could do that. I could do that.
Yeah.
And then if you do act upon it, then you'll know if it works or not. But if not, then you keep going for the walk. Keep exercising so you can continue to process. Right? And that right there, that's called self-love. That right there is critical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And those two together is what you would experience as overcoming a challenge, a block in our mind, a mental block. And you know what that does? It equals happy. It equals happy. We don't realize it, but and very few do. Because when we figure it out for ourselves, when we because we're the only one that sees everything, but then we want to tell another person, someone who we know or some stranger, what some of the picture is or some of the details, but it's almost impossible to convey or let them see the picture because we don't do a good job or well enough job for them to see it. But we feel better, right? We feel better. But then again, that person's not always going to be there.
Yeah, no.
So that's why it's great to process, get in some self-love, overcome.
That is definitely a win, and you feel happy and proud. It's almost like the feeling of like proud.
Absolutely.
And obviously that's a part of feeling happy because you feel so proud of yourself.
Exactly.
And then it encourages you to keep on that wave of feeling proud and like doing the healthy thing for you.
Absolutely.
You know? Yep. Mm-hmm.
So just touching upon happy and whatnot. For me, it's I like to suggest that, and I mentioned this to a buddy of mine a few days ago. It was last Friday. If it feels hella good or you feel great, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you feel great, how is that wrong? How is that wrong?
Mm.
When you feel great, how is that wrong? He goes, you know what? You got a good point. You got a good point. I can bring and touch upon the gentleman who relapsed, and we're probably thinking, you know what? It felt hella good. But if you felt hella good, why did you feel hella bad?
Mm.
See, it's feeling hella good, right? When you feel hella good, how's that wrong? It's not feel hella good and then feel guilt,
Mm-hmm.
right? Kind of like when you buy something that you're not able to afford.
Mm-hmm.
If they feel good, but then there's guilt or buyer's remorse, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
see? So maybe that's not the good. But
Yeah.
I'm talking about feeling hella good, like after a workout,
Yeah.
right? Overcoming a challenge at work,
Yeah.
beating a deadline, right?
Yeah.
Feels hella good.
Yeah.
How is that wrong?
Yeah.
You know, and I like to mention, if you put enough of those together, you'll build a foundation and you'll find your center. And when you find your center, it is very, very difficult for anyone to move this. Because for you, you have created this center. You have created this foundation. And this right here feels hella good. And it's because you earned it. And it'll be very difficult for anyone to move it because you knew and you know what it takes to have this.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels hella good because you built it. You grew it.
Mm-hmm.
You made it. How is that wrong? How is that wrong? You know what's wrong? When somebody sees what you built and they start nitpicking, hey.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, brother. Come on, sis.
Safe place.
Just be happy for me. Just be happy for me. That's all. But see, when you feel hella good, just being happy, how is that wrong? Anything you'd like to add before we go?
I like how you said, like, when you're talking about feeling good, it means feeling good without any guilt, without feeling bad. It's like, okay, that was just for instant gratification. I know you have this term that you mentioned where it's like delayed gratification.
Yes.
Right. And so that's the difference. It's almost like you don't feel good, hella good until the end.
Yes.
And the other stuff, the instant gratification, when you feel hella good in the beginning, like that jolt of excitement and like, oh, I feel happy really fast, really immediately, tends to equal actually not feeling so good about it afterwards, you know?
Exactly.
So yeah, I definitely relate with that. And you also said something about no, I guess this is the main thing. Yeah, just happiness. I feel like
that's
people
my goal.
go on not knowing what that is, you know, what is it like to feel happiness? Or sometimes we believe we know what happiness is, but then we realize, oh, wait a minute, that was just instant gratification.
Yeah. I've
Like-
heard
Like I
people
thought
mention-
I was happy in the past. I thought I was happy, but actually I wasn't.
Yeah. People
was-
know.
I was
We
just
know.
upkeeping the instant gratification, you know. I was writing that, and I thought that was happiness.
We know. Somebody mentions or you hear the word, you're like, oh, am I?
Oh, like if they ask you, "Hey, are you happy?"
No, you
Oh.
hear it. You'll just hear it.
Oh.
And maybe you'll reflect it, or I've heard people say, I ain't got no time for that.
Mm.
Who got time to be happy?
Yeah. I remember someone literally said, happiness, it's not real. Literally. Like the way that they spoke, it's become a core belief of theirs that it's not real.
Yeah,
It's not real. It's not real. It's just something that people like make believe.
Yes.
Make believe. And it's of course, and what they think is right because of their experiences. So, you know,
No.
and we can only share what we've experienced and to people who are open. That's it.
There goes.
People who are open. Yeah.
So there goes. We had some good vibes today. We had a new way to brew kava, or
Yeah.
a new kava concoction, the kava yerbs.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yes.
Mm.
A new way to make the kava mache. And then just being happy, man. You know, if you're ever anyone's out there watching this again, make decisions upon that. Make decisions upon that. I've always, for myself, I've felt good a majority of my life. And
yeah.
for someone to pull me away from feeling good, it's got to be better. And I haven't found better, you know, because people will sell you a bunch of wolf tickets. People will do their best to sell you on something that's not even yours or in your best interests. Normally, unfortunately, it seems like people want to use us. And it's unfortunate.
Mm.
It is unfortunate. So hopefully you can have some resolve, or not some, grow.
Yeah, that's the
resolve.
key right there.
Grow it.
Mhm.
And with your resolve comes your happiness. That's the Cuckoo Queen for the win. On the pineapple. Keep spreading your love. Keep spreading your good vibes. and
Thanks for
keep
being
spreading
on.
that wonderful smile that you have. Stay magical, everyone. Stay magical.
See you tomorrow. All right.
See you later, Alvita.
Good night.
Always good to see you.
Keep it zen. Keep it zen.
Yes.
Yes.
Stay magical.
Bye. Thanks for joining.